So the main point was railway construction. ओहो मैप क्या हो गया यहाँ पे, ठीक है. British claimed that they made railway for the benefits of Indian Empire in India. अब देखो, I am putting it in a different context. British are claiming कि हमने आपके लिए किया. Even today, if you go and talk to a person in London, he would think हमने आपको कम से कम रेलवे तो दिया, कुछ नहीं तो थोड़ा थोड़ा तो रेलवे तो दिया. But this notion is debunked by national historians. The motives of the British behind railway construction were not so benign and benevolent. And we know that how. We have the statements from the memo and speeches of the Governor Generals who thought of this idea. Lord Hardinge in 1843 memo says that railways would be beneficial for the commerce, government and military control of the country. Commerce for exploitation, government for control, military for control. So that is the very idea that permeates through the mind when they created railway. Second statement by Dalhousie, the important role that India could play as a market for British goods and as a source for agricultural raw materials for Britain would be facilitated by the railways. Again, it is an exact statement, summary of the idea of industrial capitalism, industrial in colonial era, right? So from the very top and from the very beginning, it was clear that the British wanted to build the railways for their own purposes. So as far as the intention is concerned, we have clarity. It is not benign. It is rather the opposite. Okay, intention ko chhod do. Let us talk about the construction process at least. So when you go to the next level, so I have the objectives listed here again. Sorry, objectives listed. Economic objectives of railway construction and strategic objectives. To carry the British manufactured goods from the port to the interior region. Simple, market chahiye. To carry the Indian raw material from the interior regions to the ports. Again, reverse way. To provide a better market for British iron and steel companies for the construction of railway, and then to create an outlet for investment of the British capital to construct the railway, right? This point is from financial era and first three are from industrial, right? Then strategic purpose, very simple. The railways could provide an added mobility to the British army, proved useful in 1857 also. And construction of the frontier lines to meet army movement. Frontier lines मतलब northwest में, Pakistan, Punjab, Waziristan, उस तरफ. Frontier to control the Afghan tribes, etc. Frontier lines. Why frontier lines? Because frontier lines is to be given in such kind of inverted comma because they were completely unremunerative. They were not the population centers at all. They made no market logic, investment logic. Still, they were prepared for strategic control. So that is about the intent. Intent is very clear. There is no doubt. We come to the construction itself. It was also extremely costly. Shashi Tharoor says very clearly in his very fantastic book, Era of Darkness, that the railways was a gigantic colonial scam. It is a very provocative phrase that he has used, gigantic colonial scam. The railways were built by the British at the expense of Indians. They are claiming कि हम बना रहे, सारे हमसे लिए थे. Literally every single penny. Indian taxpayers paid for the entire construction of the railways, but the profits were all made by the English, and even the construction costs were extortionist. How do we know? The first thing is the minimum guarantee of 5% profit. British collected all the capital. It is a capital wala era. It's a financial era. So London people have a lot of capital to invest. So British government in India created an opportunity for them to invest. कहाँ पैसे लगाओ? Indian railway में लगाओ. And millions of pounds just came very quickly because they were given guarantee कि आपको हर साल 5% minimum profit हम देंगे, dividend देंगे. If railway is making profit, उससे ज़्यादा you will get that. But if it is in loss or less than 5%, I give you guarantee as a state sovereign guarantee that you will get 5%. 5% is huge. By reference to that era in which the best return देने वाला government bond in London gave 2 to 3%. It is double of that, double of any other best government opportunity, 5%. And that is also in the context if for next 20 to 40 years, maybe for 40 years, railway was in loss. It made no financial sense. तो 40 साल 5% दे रहा है भारतीय लोग टैक्स भर भर के. कौन भर रहा है? इनकम टैक्स तो 1860s में आता है. रेलवे स्टार्टेड 20 years before that. किसान भर रहा है भारत का. And okay, you want to build this kind of thing. The next column was that next column 99 years lease. Railway requires land, Land has to be purchased. 2013 we saw land acquisition bill का क्या हुआ? So land acquisition is not a joke. It is not a democratic India at that time. They can just go and evict anybody. Now railway lines have some logic. If the line is passing through princely state, तब क्या करेंगे? Princely state is sovereign थोड़ा सा. State को तोड़ दो. Paramount सी. So lot of railway lines went through between princely states. जमीन ऐसी हथियाली. लोगों को उठा दिया. सब करने के बाद it is all done by the government and not a single rupee for the railway companies who are building it. सबको फ्री में जमीन 99 year lease में, so that after running it for 99 years, उसके अगर एक महीना पहले भी if you return the land, you will get double investment, पूरी वापस मिल जाएगी आपको. So government said that you will run this for 99 years. Even one day before 99 years, you want to return the land, आपको सारा पैसा हम दे देंगे, आपसे लैंड खरीद लेंगे, लाइन्स खरीद लेंगे. दैट इज 99 साल आप 5% ले लो, एक दिन पहले लौटा दो, सारा वापस कैपिटल मिल जाएगा. Is it not a scam? What kind of capitalism is? There is no risk, only reward. Why? Because we are politically colonized. And because they don't have the financial pressure to compete and make railway profitable, railway for long time did not become profitable. Lots of wasteful expenditures. For example, railways did not try hard enough to earn profit. उनके जो fares थे, उनके जो construction lines, line कहाँ डालनी है? क्या पर डाल दो, लेकिन पैसे कमाने कहीं भी डालते रहो. So they put, there are only two countries which are continental or subcontinental in nature who are building vast railway network at that time. One is India, other is America. In the same duration of 50 to 70 years, America built its own railway network. India also built its own railway network. America got connected to the western coast. Manifest destiny, westward movement. India got subjected to colonialism more and more. दोनों की लेंथ उतनी है, कोई फर्क नहीं है. Both of them are equally dense and densest in the world. रशिया नहीं कर पाया उतना. रशिया की बाद में चीजें होती है कई सारी. Then 1 mile of railway in India costed 18,000 pounds. At the same time, when US is costing 2,000 pounds, 9 times. Why such wasteful expenditure? Because we don't have to make money. Tax तो हम भर रहे हैं, profit तो हम दे रहे हैं. So there is a historian called Sabyasachi Bhattacharya. He has called it a private, name is not required. He has called it private profit at public risk. The fundamental idea of railway construction is private profit at public risk. But who is the private citizen? British capitalist. And who is the public? Indian peasant. So the private profit was made by the Englishmen who were investing. The public risk was borne by the Indians. M.G. Ranade, Mahadev Govinda Ranade, Justice Ranade at that time, pointed out that railway construction was an important part of drain of wealth and refused to believe that it brought any development in India. In 1901, 1902, the fiscal burden was 1/3 of the home charges. The amount of money that flew from India to the West, of all things considering, 30%, kabhi 40%, kabhi 25% was just dividends for railway investment. So much so that when the budget started in 1911, 1912, exact year yaad nahi hai, we had a separate railway budget till very recently. In the colonial time, it made sense because compared to budget of entire India, the railway budget was equivalent in size. उसका budget पूरा अलग रखो, अब तो होता नहीं है, छोटा budget बन गया. So they had two budgets in India, national budget and railway budget. So this is about the way it was constructed. So neither in intention nor in construction, railway has been beneficial to India. But what about the consequences? कम से कम उतना तो फायदा कुछ हुआ. Let us look at that angle now. So consequences I will have on the left side, the long-term unintended positive consequences that we got, but which were also claimed at that time. आपको मिल रहा है, जैसे कोई अनार है. And इस तरफ what was the reality? A negative impact. So first is geographical integration of India, rise of modern nationalism. It is true, India did get geographically integrated in the long run. There is no doubt about it. People could go from place to place very easily. ये सब हुआ. But that was not what their plan was. You see, proved useful in controlling India, like in 1857. That is the original intent. The second point, in the long run, it prepared the way for the rise of modern factory system in India, because railways require a lot of raw material. It requires a lot of engineering, car sheds, reconstruction. So even in India, we will find lots of rail fans. I have quite a few friends, but rail fanning is different, and that is completely disconnected from this context. So don't, if you are a rail fan, please remain so. It is a good thing to be, but don't get concerned with this. ये अलग चीज है, वो अलग चीज है. It is more of engineering and all other things. So railway, see what happens. I'll give you some idea. When you create any industry, am I audible now online? Yes, okay. So when you create any industry, you have something called as backward linkage. And forward linkage. It could be infrastructure also, industry or infrastructure, or rather any economic activity. For example, let's take a bridge, Howrah Bridge. To build a Howrah Bridge, you need engineering, you need steel, you need coal, you need some kind of factories, you need some kind of skill. So that you have to create first. So because I have got the demand, I have got the project to build the bridge. Now this industry start coming into being. एक मिनरल फैक्ट्री बनेगी, कहीं स्टील फैक्ट्री बनेगी, कुछ चीजें होंगी, राइट? सो दिस आइडिया कि मुझे इसको बिल्ड करना है गिव्स अ बूस्ट फॉर इंडस्ट्री एट द बैकवर्ड साइड. एंड वंस द ब्रिज इज बिल्ट, it helps transportation, it helps other industries in the region of umpteen kind. So you have forward linkage. Same thing for railway. When you want to construct a railway, the railway is supposed to require huge amount of steel and wood and coal. It has to supposed to create entire modern industrial base, and that did happen in the world everywhere. Railway construction was the outcome of industrial revolution for England, but only for England. For rest of the countries, Germany, France, Russia, Japan, America, railway construction was the input to start industrialization of the country. Because of the railway investment, their modern industry start to come into being. So railway became a kind of take-off point. यहाँ से modern India शुरू, modern economy शुरू होती. So any country, when it decides to create a railway system, is the one where it starts to upgrade its entire economy to next level. And that is what was intended to happen. Everybody knew that happens everywhere else in the world. It did happen. That also everybody knew. So when India thought कि अब यहाँ पे railway बनेगी, it will not just connect everything. That is not the only point of raw material and people and army and everything. The way it is constructed is supposed to create huge amount of factories and construction business in India. Zilch. All the coal. India has coal factories? No. Coal mines? कुछ नहीं. All the coal, all the steel, all the engineering knowledge, all the technical personages, everything came from England, went back to England. Railway construction का जितना जो कुछ चाहिए raw material and technical expertise, we did not develop in India because they wanted to keep it with themselves. It is the British steel industry which should get market. British engineering colleges should control that IP, how to create railway. We will not give it to you. So neither on the backward side nor on the forward side, railways helped India. Backward side, I just explained. Forward side, I will explain gradually in next few minutes. So in the long run, it prepared the way for the rise of modern factory system in India. Yes, in the long run, it did in next 100 years. What about those 50 years? So unlike the West, industrialization of iron, steel, transport, mining, engineering, etc. did not follow the construction of railways in India till 1910. All rail tracks until 1940, all railway engines were imported from England. There was no technology transfer. TOT कहते, transfer technology, zero TOT. Then next, चलो ठीक है, आगे चल के देख लेते हैं और क्या थी. So Indian market was integrated because railway connecting entire India. Market is integrated. You have uniformity of prices in goods because of transportation and controlled inflation. It's a good thing. Long term, it did happen. In the area which have scarcity of some commodity, railway can bring the scarcity. It would reduce the scarcity. Demand supply will get matched up. But what happened in reality? Instead of connecting Indian centers to each other, connecting चाहिए वो ED हो गया, sorry, रात में 2 बजे करते हैं ना, ऐसा होता है. So instead of connecting Indian centers to each other, the lines connected ports to hinterland for import of British goods and mineral areas and agrarian hinterland with export centers. So, for example, if you have Indian demand and supply, when you say Indian market was integrated, it means within India, demand supply को match करना है. That is integration. Now, demand supply match भी India and UK की, not within India. The population centers in India are not connected. Even today, we have to face a lot of problem of the legacy because railway is not so convenient for rest of India. In UP and Bihar, maybe it is very popular mode of transport. Rest of India, it is not. Short distance, if you want to go for 2 districts, 3 districts, we don't use railway. Railway is not convenient. In UP, Bihar, it is because of the Ganga plain, it is feasible to build that kind of dense network. Rest of India primarily relies on bus service and not railway service. Railway is for bigger things, longer travel for us. So, instead of connecting Indian centers to each other, the lines connected ports to hinterland for British goods and mineral and agrarian areas for export. So, somebody has said that every railway station became a mini export center. Very nice line, summarizes the very idea. Every single railway station became mini export center. British traders paid one of the lowest freight rates in India, in the world. So again, look at the ticketing policy, pricing policy. If you are a British and if you want to transport the British commodity, for you, very cheap freight rates, सस्ते में एकदम, ताकि आपकी competitiveness खराब ना हो. Led to the destruction of traditional Indian industries, we know that, we have covered this point already. Then next point, British would always claim it helped in the control of famine. For example, if there is famine, we'll bring famine. जहाँ जहाँ famine है वहाँ equivalent डालते जाएंगे, so next time scarcity will be controlled. That was their claim. Famine lines. As we have frontier lines there, we have famine lines here. Rather than transporting grain surplus to grain scarce area as a purported solution to famine, it exported grains from India to Britain even during the time of scarcity. You know Churchill, and a very famous thing that happened in 1943. In 1943, we had a huge Bengal famine. Why? Not because there was scarcity of food. अनाज था, Burma rice भी आया था. Burma used to give us a lot of rice at that time in Bengal. But because of the World War, lots of Greek and Italian, Australian, American troops were stationed anticipating Japan coming to Indian side. और उनके लिए खाना था. But to create buffer stock for them, lot of food was taken out from Bengal and millions died in Bengal for creating buffer stock for these soldiers. Millions. And who diverted all these things? Winston Churchill. He is the, as an Indian, we do not have a shade of difference between Hitler and Churchill. हमारे दोनों एक ही है. The kind of barbarity they have, he was a pig-headed person. Kind of barbarity is perpetrated on Indian population and killed millions. Hitler may have killed less amount of Jews. But again, he is from the liberal country. Nonetheless, the point is governors and administrators from England, from English service, British civil service, sent letters to Churchill. ये तुम गलत कर रहे हो. Millions are dying when they had some conscience, obviously. Churchill saw the file. He wrote a memo. अगर इतने लोग मर रहे, गांधी क्यों नहीं मरा अब तक? Why is he still alive? He has written his comment on that memo. गांधी क्यों नहीं मर रहा अब तक भूख से? So क्या बोले? It rather encouraged commercialization of agriculture and intensified conditions of famine and hunger. Again, simple thing. Due to excessive focus on railway, other sectors like irrigation were starved of capital and neglected. By till 1902-03, that is after 50 years, तब तक 75 crore rupees were spent on irrigation, while about 359 crores were spent on railway construction. And this is not done by mistake. Understand that. There was a possibility that irrigation might be more suitable. Famines are रहे, use irrigation. It will solve all the problems of India also and Europe also. No. It is not Paschata Buddhi. It is not what we see in retrospection. At that time, G.B. Joshi, M.G. Ranade, are debating in public, writing to British, writing in newspaper, public debate ki bhai don't put capital here, put capital there. If you want to bring capital from abroad, at least put it where it is required, and it is going to be financially beneficial. They proved it will also give you 5-6% returns. So we have at that time in 1870s and 1880s a very famous debate called railway versus irrigation debate. It was a national debate at that time. What should be the priority? Or you can clearly see, had India been an independent country और उतने पैसे FDI अगर आ रहा होता, we would have put that FDI into our own priorities. Clear na? Because they have their priorities, which is not to develop India, but to loot India, industrial capitalism, and control India. Canals and irrigation would not do that, right? Next point, promoted social mobility through weakening the social evils like untouchability. It is very true. It is very true that if you are a co-passenger in railway, if you are traveling in railway from village to city or city to city, you have to take a ticket, sit on the berth. लकड़ी का बर्थ होगा, आप बैठना पड़ेगा. आपके बगल में कोई बैठा है, ब्राह्मण है, बनिया है, दलित है, you can't control that. So you have the mobility, occupational and geographic, that also brings by default some social mobility. Untouchability loosen होना शुरू होती, no doubt. But again, it is unintended consequence. It was not designed. But कि आपके लिए दूर करूंगा अनटचेबिलिटी, मैं रेलवे लाता हूँ, ऐसे थोड़ी हुआ है. तो बाय द बाय हो गया थोड़ा थोड़ा. And then on the other hand, racism, the way British operated railway was completely and utterly racist. The most famous example is of Mahatma Gandhi. उठा के बाहर फेंक दिया, right? मतलब sometimes I feel very nice and very happy कि railway was racist. गांधी तो बना गांधी, रेलवे नहीं होता गांधी थोड़ी गांधी बन पाते. Racism in railway operation. Right up to the First World War, British insisted on hiring white people for all jobs except menial jobs. You know, from top to bottom up to TT. TT माने टिकट कलेक्टर जो होता है वो, it is the lowest position. हमें लगता था बचपन में कोई बड़ी चीज है टिकट कलेक्टर, अब पता चलता है बहुत छोटी चीज है उसके रेलवे के हायरार्की में. But from the director of the railway board till the level of TT, it will be only and only white people till World War I. After World War I, what happened? So many white people died that वहाँ पे इनफ वाइट थे ही नहीं जॉब करने के लिए. देन दे हैड टू लुक फॉर अल्टरनेटिव. किसको ढूंढेंगे वो? एंग्लो इंडियंस. थोड़े तो वाइट हो, देर के एंग्लो इंडियंस. जब वो भी खत्म हो गए, नहीं मिले, तो क्या करें? कम से कम इंडिया के अंदर दोज हु आर मोर वेस्टर्नाइज्ड टाइप, पारसीज. सो वी हैव रेल वाला, बाटली वाला सरनेम्स इन इंडिया. तो पारसीज वी आर गिवन प्रेफरेंस, बट बाकी इंडियन को नहीं देंगे हम. है आपके औकात थोड़ी है रेलवे चलाने की. सो till independence, you will see till 1940s that very few non-British, non-Anglo-Indian, non-Parsis were employed at good level jobs in the railway. नहीं था. आज के दिन में रेलवे इज अ बिग एम्प्लॉयर इन इंडिया फॉर इंडियंस, वो तो अलग बात है. And third class travelers paid among the highest passenger fares in the world, traveling in subhuman condition. वो तो. So you compare and contrast this line with this line. British traders paid one of the lowest freight rates in the world. So if you are a British trader, you come to Mumbai, and from Mumbai you want to take lots of goods to Agra. आपका जाना बड़ा सस्ता है with freight. But if you want to go from Agra to Mumbai and you're Indian, you'll be paying more ticket price than the freight price in the reverse direction. 10 times more, 20 times more. So is it for Indians? नहीं है भाई. ठीक है. So I hope the railway topic is very clear. We have to take clear stance. Whatever the positive consequences were there, they were unintended long-term consequences. But at the level of idea, the construction, level of implementation, at all three levels, we see the negative points, not because railway is bad, but because it is built under colonial rule. That is the fundamental. Colonial is a very important keyword here. Railway per se is not bad. The way it is intended and built under colonial interest, that is the problem.